Hello.
Hello.
Howdy.
Hello. Welcome to Hugo Girl, the podcast where we read Hugo award-winning novels, and sometimes we do other things. And today we're going to do another thing, and we'll tell you about it in a second. I'm Lori.
I'm Amy.
I'm Haley.
I'm Anne.
Yay! Welcome in.
Woohoo!
That makes me think of welcome in, which is what everyone says at stores now. Instead of just saying hello, everyone goes, welcome in.
Welcome to Moe's.
Welcome to Moe's.
Welcome into Moe's. What are we doing today, guys?
We're having a very special New Year's episode with our friend of the pod, Anne, who I believe is going to play a very fun game with us.
Yes.
Called Guess Which Book?
So this is a combined effort by Anne and our friend Seth from the Hugo's There podcast. And Anne and Seth don't know each other, but we talked about on one of our episodes about how Anne said she thought it would be really funny to have her describe a book based on only listening to one of our episodes, but not having actually read the book. And so we mentioned that on an episode, and then Seth messaged us on Twitter and said it would be funny if you guys did that as like a quiz show, and Anne would tell you the plot as she understands it, and then you guys try to guess what it is. And I was like, that is very funny. And so we're going to do it.
Is it possible to win this? How competitive should I be?
I think we can each find our own way. If you feel like if you feel ruthless today, you feel ruthless. I don't feel ruthless.
I don't know how much Ruth I have today.
Yeah, and I think we obviously shouldn't use names because that would give it away, you know.
Do you have a plan? Do you have a plan?
I'm kind of just barreling into it.
Okay.
I think that Anne is the right person for this. She's an Anne with a plan, I feel sure.
So I got to let you know, there were two books that I went into that I was like, nope, we're not doing this. There was actually a couple more before, but I forgot about them because I was taken out for a week. But there is also an extra special thing that I listened to an episode that is special to you guys, and I still don't know the plot of it.
Is it Moby Dick?
It is Moby Dick.
Point for Haley.
Wait, I would really like to hear you describe the plot of Moby Dick.
Wait, hold on. First, can we also... I want to get the listeners your background with sci-fi and fantasy.
I do not
have one.
have a background.
Full stop. But have you seen One Star War? It's okay if you haven't.
No.
Okay, how about one
Lord of the Ring?
One ring?
I think I've seen all of the Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I feel like I've seen you dress up for Star Wars stuff.
I mean, yeah, I would dress up.
I mean, who doesn't love a costume moment?
Yeah.
A Star Trek, perhaps?
I think I liked it a lot as a kid.
There we go.
General feeling about hobbits.
Oh, I mean, I like a Hobbit. I grew up
pro-Hobbit.
Oh, okay. I don't know if this is true, but
We don't really care about truth here.
okay. So my mom actually did read us The Hobbit as a child.
Okay, there you go.
And my mom says that one time my sister asked her if it was the Bible.
What's the answer? Yes.
I mean,
And lo, he said, one doth not walk into Mordor.
And I shall appear, and there shall be 11sies.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of Sauron. Should we?
Man does not live by Olympus alone.
Anne, I just want to tell people that we know Anne because this is Lori. Anne and I lived together. I think now we're officially at 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we met on Craigslist, and neither one of us got murdered.
Best Craigslist date ever.
Yeah.
Really and I rejected you.
Yeah, I wondered if you would tell this story. It's so funny to me. Do it.
Well, okay. So I lived in a house, which I actually still live in now. And we needed a roommate. And Lori answered our Craigslist ad. And I really liked her.
So then she called me after we met and had a really nice chat. And I was like, I feel good about that interview. And she called me and she goes, I'm sorry. I really, really like you. And I'm in law school and I have so much homework to do. And I'm just afraid that because I like you so much, I'll be distracted from doing my work. And it is like, when has a girl ever broken up with someone and been like, I just like you too much?
Now, to be fair, I was right.
You did not graduate from law school because of Lori.
I did graduate from law school, but Lori was a distraction.
Yes, she ended up calling me back and unbreaking up with me.
I did unbreak up
She
with
came.
you.
They all come crawling back, Lori.
I think in the same day.
Was it the same?
I think it was the same day.
I wish that you had a copy of that posting, like seeking lady.
All I remember was it just said like, ask for Anne. My ex-boyfriend found it.
Oh.
And he was like helping me look for places. And he found it and probably printed it and gave it to me.
Aw. Here's printing things.
Here's the map quest to the
Yeah,
house.
it was
Long time
like
ago.
2004.
We didn't have the internet. We had a VCR. We only
one
had
tape.
Napoleon Dynamite and Beavis and Butthead Butterween.
and Dan also had the British Office, which was on a
Oh,
lot.
so good.
So,
But mostly it was Butterween.
Butterween. Amazing.
And the tape came with the house.
I hope
I
it's still
think
there.
that's
Yeah,
true. I
yeah.
don't
The
know.
tape definitely came with the house.
Is it still there? Because Anne still lives in the house. Let's be clear.
It's been redone though.
Who took it? Who took Butterween?
Probably the trash people.
Well, we have Butterween on DVD. So if anyone ever wants to watch it, we've got it. And I think it has a Christmas special on it too. Yeah.
Only 9 months till spooky season.
All right. So that's our background.
That's our origin story.
And now Anne's going to give us a quiz.
Okay. So,
Trying not
let
to
me
look at your
get-
notes.
So,
Don't cheat. Don't cheat.
I would like to start out with the, as I said, there were 2 books that were too sad. I didn't want them.
Us too,
And
probably.
I have one.
Don't give us any context.
Okay.
Then you can give us context after we go.
If we're
Yeah, I
struggling.
feel like you could start off with no context. And if we're really not getting it, maybe
Yeah.
you can give us some
Clues.
hints.
There are some books that we've read that I've gone back and I'm like, I don't remember one thing
No,
about this
I
book.
know.
Same.
Oh.
Oh, same.
I'm the president of that. So, would you like a male author or a female author?
Well, female author narrows the field
Yeah,
too
that's
much,
true.
so I feel like I don't want to know.
Let's start with male. Or don't tell us. Yeah.
Yeah, just
shuffle,
tell
shuffle
us.
it up. Shuffle it up.
Because there's only like 3 ones.
A boy wizard.
There's a special boy on a planet.
Oh no, that's every book.
If there's any incest, it's a book by a woman.
That's true. Strangely.
I know, it's so weird.
So, this was actually my favorite
Aw.
review. There's a lot of misogyny in it.
Yeah.
Okay, field is not narrow. Wait, okay, so it's not The Calculating Stars. It's not anything by N.K. Jemisin.
Yeah.
I feel like that's all I can cross off the list.
So, there's a quote about a real mountain of a woman.
A real mountain of a
real
woman.
mountain of a woman. Oh, no.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
I feel like I remember that.
I do too.
I,
Yeah.
but I don't remember what book it's from.
Is it, what was the one that had like beefy women?
Beefy. I called the episode Beefy.
Yeah. What was it?
Was it The Demolished Man? No, that wasn't Beefy.
A beefy.
I don't know.
A mountain of a woman.
Okay, got more clues.
I remember a
I
mountain.
do
of a
have
woman.
more clues, but it's not actually critical to the the book. I just was like, y'all said it was misogynist, but I was like, who does not love to hug a real mountain of a woman? I was like,
That's true. Nestle
Maybe-
in there.
You know,
Just get in there.
maybe it meant that she's powerful.
It might help if
Powerful and ancient.
I'm going to pull up our feed so I can.
No
like,
way! No!
That's cheating.
Oh, was it Conjure Wife? God damn it!
Well done. What was the rest of the clues?
well, the plot, according to Haley, the plot towards the end tends to get confusing.
It does.
There's a lot of men saying, "Don't worry, it's fine."
Oh, the gaslighting. The house definitely isn't haunted.
Mansplaining But one interesting talking point that Amy brought up is it's interesting because it brings up all the things that we keep secret from other people.
That's true.
And I was
did say
like,
that.
You're smart. You are so smart.
I was like, it is really interesting to think every woman is a witch.
Yeah,
And,
right.
That is true. That's a very fun premise.
If you
I was
haven't
on
read
board
that
with
one, you should read that one. It's good.
And the movie I Married a Witch, which is similar.
I'm going to say that after every one of these, though.
Maybe not
Sorry,
everyone.
I have my notes about that one.
Oh, I
no,
like that book.
that was not one that I would read.
But there's so many good descriptions of breakfast in that book. Yeah.
No, you're thinking of The Uninvited. Has all the breakfast.
Oh, the conjure wife is the hands. Yes.
Yeah, the
Yes,
conjure wife-
yes,
yeah,
the flannel
yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which I made actual little flannel hands.
yeah.
I would like to know what a flannel hand is. I did no research because I wanted.
I don't know if we actually know, but
It's like a little piece of cloth. It's not really, like, I admit I did a hand because I was being silly, but it's like a little piece of cloth. It's kind of like a good luck charm.
Yeah, like a
or
charm.
Yeah.
She would like enchant them, I guess, and then tuck them around, but like potpourri, but for good vibes.
Yeah.
Okay, and now it looks also like, so I had COVID and I was listening to this at like 4:00 in the morning and couldn't go outside. So I walked around my house 2,726 steps for this episode.
Wow. That's like a mile.
that's a good unit of measure of a podcast. How many steps is it?
Yeah, that is good.
Americans will do anything to avoid the metric system.
That's true.
Let's see. What do you dream about that's scary, Haley?
Do I dream about that's scary? I have anxiety dreams almost every night of my life. And I'm the Picasso of anxiety dreams, so I don't know.
Is it not being ready for your tests?
I'm constantly trying to figure out my combination lock from my high school locker. I've been doing that for years now. What else?
Missing class? I have missing class dreams a lot.
This is from a different episode?
This is a different book. We've
Okay,
moved on.
different book. Where you
know.
talked about your dreams. Is there a book with dreams?
No,
Okay, new
it's
book.
just a discussion.
Oh,
of
just an
dreams.
offhand comment. Okay.
Okay, new
Yeah,
clue.
I don't know.
Okay. Now that I know you guys guess it too fast, there is a lot of sex in this. Apparently,
Is this the one with map play?
Oh, where Late the Sweet Bird sang.
Or is it the Broken Earth one where they have the oily...
Cock on oily cock.
Or Cytine. There was a lot of kid sex, right?
incorrect.
No?
Okay.
A lot of sex.
3 wrong answers.
There is children's sex, though. It
I
appears.
mean, that sounds like Cytine to me.
Oh, or it's not Ender's Game, the first one, is it?
No, there's.
I would-
don't
no,
think
I
they have
wouldn't.
sex.
It's just
No.
naked kids.
Will you give us another clue?
Okay. Let's see.
It sounds like Sweet Birds or Cytine to me.
Trying to.
Well,
gotta
she's
think back farther.
told you that's
I
not
know,
right.
I know.
There's no misogyny in this book.
Okay.
Oh.
Almost known.
Okay, so not Sweet Birds or Cytine.
Is there sex in Left-Handed Darkness? Not really.
No.
No, but there's definitely not kid sex in Left-Handed
Oh, that's
Darkness.
true.
There's
That's
no
true.
kids.
Kid sex. Ugh.
But somehow it's almost kind of a showcase. Not really, but not super
I feel
problematic.
like the Sound of Freedom people are going to come rappelling into my guest room.
Yeah, I take those parts out. Oh, there's good succulents.
Oh, good succulents. It's not Dream Snake, is it?
Oh! Dream
Yeah, there is a lot of sex in Dream Snake.
Yes, and there is sort of a kid-related weird moment.
Who did we decide was Snake in that? Like,
Oh,
so
actor, like
Yeah,
casting it?
yeah.
Oh, I don't
I
remember.
forget. It was somebody funny. It was like, was it Ani DeFranco or?
Oh, yeah.
There were a lot of.
Yes, yeah. I actually went back recently and read the Wikipedia synopsis of Dream Snake, and I was like, have I touched this book?
For $1, name a book.
So another thing about that is I heard a lot about milking snakes, and like I was.
Oh, the snake milk. That's
That one was. That started with Harry Potter.
Yeah, that's
That's
with
what we
Nagini.
talked about. Milk.
Yeah, milk the
Tits.
snake, and yeah, and we were like
Yes.
trying to figure out what does a baby snake eat, And then we found out some snakes give live birth, which is
I have snake dreams. Is that it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one.
it's all come full circle.
Yeah.
Yes. This was the one that I would be most likely to read out of the.
I liked that book.
Dream Snake?
Yeah.
That's okay.
I think I might have a paper copy of it.
It had some weirdnesses, but it was a good book.
There's a lot of polyamory.
There was.
There was. The future liberals want.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Random alien artifacts or past history artifacts, which I always like.
There's like a box of snakes.
Unclear about this one. I was the most likely to read, but I did not. So there was a nuclear fallout, possibly. And there are aliens that bring succulents.
I have no idea.
This is the same book, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because it's like post-apocalyptic. There's like she's a traveling healer.
But why are there succulents?
Oh, because
The desert, right?
Oh, wait, I know this. Because the important snakes. Oh, I lost it.
You got so close.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like the important snakes come out of the plants or something like that.
It seemed like it was in a desert environment.
It was definitely the
Yeah.
desert based on what I got.
Okay.
It wasn't like the succulent section at Home Depot.
No.
Oh, man. I almost had it.
The snakes have to triple. They can't just couple and mate. They have to triple, right? Isn't that how they reproduce?
I
They
don't
need 3
know.
snakes.
Ooh.
Wasn't that
A snake
something?
Have we
polycule.
read this
Yeah.
book? Do we need to read it again?
No, we don't. We don't.
There is a lot of horse petting
Yes.
and horse people who make fancy jewelry.
I can't imagine a world in which a woman named Snake doesn't like horses.
If you just said a lot of horse people who make fancy jewelry, I'd be like, Dothraki?
They have really violent weddings.
I'm not sure if it was Amy or Haley, but somebody takes issue with the interchanging use of venom and poison.
That sounds like Amy.
me. If there's a
And-
semantics, it's probably me.
Okay, so this is the
New book?
New book.
New book. I guess this. I can't tell if I walked 71,000 steps during this.
That's like
That's
60
too many
miles.
steps.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
Because 10,000 steps is like 5 miles, right? I imagine you walking like a furrowed circle on a rug, and you're just like, I gotta take
In the moment notes.
She had, what is it? Graphomania, like in Spin.
Yeah. Did you have are you under the influence of Martian genetic altering drugs?
She's becoming a 4th.
She was sick.
Well, good segue because there are some interspacey stuff here.
Okay. Okay.
Can't understand that question.
Read the words out loud. I want to hear them.
People are dehydrated in
Oh, we got that.
3 body problem.
yeah.
Remember how they roll up like human jerky?
Dehydrate.
And then when times are good, they go rehydrate.
You guys did have an extensive conversation about rehydrating beef jerky.
Apart from the book, it could have been 2 of your podcasters after different Christmas parties this year. I'm so dehydrated.
Oh.
I was a dry husk of a person during the holidays. Too much of the Christmas cheer.
Hey, that's okay.
So, contextually, I don't remember why people are dehydrated, but there is a lot of, it's sometimes 19 million years or like 2 years.
So there's about to be a Netflix show, right? On the 3-body problem?
Yeah, I
Isn't
think
there
so.
already?
Is this
is
the
it
one
already
with
out?
Channing Tatum? No. Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
It's
well,
I don't
pretend
know.
like we didn't have
I don't know what he's on.
Okay. Nope, I did not. This is one that I did not listen to the whole thing.
3-body problem? You didn't listen to the whole
It's
thing?
also very complicated,
Yes.
too. Yeah.
Okay, so There's somewhere in the space-time continuum. This is Haley. There's somewhere in the space-time continuum where we meet for the first time, which was a good, like...
Oh, yeah.
We all
have those little moments.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
And they all look like Maleficent.
I wonder who's they.
Like
Haley, that's what you said. I don't know.
Huh.
About the three-body problem.
I didn't have any idea what the people look like. They just, we're still talking about the three-body problem, or is this a new book?
This one was too sad for me. I ended it.
Huh.
Who would have looked like what were we talking about?
Because we don't know what the Solarans look like.
Yeah.
Maybe that's who you're talking about.
They just look like
I guess
fruit roll-ups. Or like, I kind of imagining like those, what's that rug that like fiber, like raffia or rattan or something?
Yeah.
Like,
Rattan people.
yeah, they roll up with they roll up like that.
Yeah.
New book?
This is a new book.
Okay.
This is one that I did listen to the whole one. This is the one with the... I'm not going to tell you who's supposed to star in the movie.
Okay.
I could never guess.
Yeah, never.
No.
This is another one where it's unclear how long they're at space.
Okay.
Now everyone is required to be gay.
Also, the future liberals want.
I think I know what it is, but I want to hear another clue.
Yeah.
Well, he actually is weirdly dating somebody that the protagonist has a lady lover.
It's not stars.
Oh, I think I know what it
Houston?
is. I think I know what it is.
Houston was my guess when she first said everybody was gay.
My guess is Rendezvous with Rama.
You are incorrect.
Ah, damn.
Everybody has to be gay.
has to be
It's very unclear if this is an anti-gay agenda or progressive gay agenda.
Oh, I remember having
this-
that conversation.
Is it Speaker for the Dead? No.
No. No, I remember talking about that.
Everybody's gay, but has a lady lover. It's not Broken Earth.
Oh, I know what it is. It's the Forever War.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I
that's
forgot
right,
about that.
Yes, it was unclear if this is
Ooh, Chan. I think Chan's going to be good in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, apparently, according to you guys, they've been about to make this movie since like 1986.
Oh, yeah.
It's
So
always in
maybe
development
we'll
hell.
see Chan,
but
maybe
yeah.
we won't.
Every sci-fi thing has been optioned like 19 times.
Yeah.
I did just see that Ryan Gosling is going to be in the movie adaptation of Project Hail Mary, which makes me pretty happy.
Oh, I
that's
think
a
he'll be good in that.
casting. Yeah. Speaking of movies.
Speaking of Ryan Gosling, we watched Blade Runner 2049 last night, and I realized that if you just choose to believe that Ryan Gosling's character, whose name is Kay, is Ken from the
Aw.
Barbie movie, it works.
What's
and
his
it is
job?
pretty
His
funny.
job is replicant.
Replicant, yeah.
And his name is Kay. He's trying to figure out who he is. He's got like a woman in his life who's a perfect construct. I mean, it maps.
Actually, in this movie, his job is rain.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, his job
LED
is being
lights
in the rain.
everywhere.
So you guys referenced Ernest Hemingway in this, and I was
Ooh.
like, oh my God, where does everybody stand on Ernest Hemingway?
I actually don't know one thing about
He's a little
Ernest Hemingway.
problematic.
Oh, wow.
He did have all his cats, though.
Oh,
Those
I
were
forgot
good
about
cats.
the cats with
He
the
had
extra fingers.
thumb cats.
He's a little bit of a toxic masculine type guy, but
Thank God.
I like-
you, baby.
I like-
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like some of the books by him that I've read, but I'm not going to make him my bestie or anything.
Okay. Thank you.
he did have all those cats.
It was unclear based on the reference
Ah,
where you
yeah.
guys were
Okay.
standing on.
I did think he was a historical hottie. I will say that for him.
I wonder if that's what you said.
He also looks a little bit like a young William Faulkner. They look similar when they were young.
In my head, they're the same person.
And yet not.
One has too many words and one has not enough
Faulkner
words.
doesn't make sentences that make any sense. Hemingway, his sentences are so short and clear that you can't.
Was it Faulkner that wrote "As I Lay Dying"?
Yes, that
okay.
book is great.
I read that
Yeah.
and I couldn't remember which one.
And
of them
Hemingway
wrote
is
it.
like, old man of the sea.
I drank condensed milk in my coffee and I am sad.
Yeah.
I dreamt of the lions in Africa.
Yes,
the-
everything.
Faulkner was the one I read to you that I gave up because I read you that one sentence that was an entire page long.
Yeah, I fully believe that Faulkner has to be taught to you by an English professor.
I did read it in a class, and
Yeah, same.
As I Lay Dying is actually one of my favorite books.
It is
I don't
good.
think I'll ever reread it on my own, but it's a good book.
Yeah.
But is a book successful if you can't just read it on your own and understand it? I don't know.
Well,
I don't know, but I got us way off track by not knowing the difference in those two men.
So Hemingway was our reference.
Okay. So one thing you guys discussed at length is how a man tries to write from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
And it was funny. And I was like, but I couldn't write from a man's perspective. I'd just be like, sports. So I was
Or like hammer body spray.
you know what would be interesting would be to write various types of sentences, like I statements, and then ask people, is this from the point of view of a man or a woman? And I bet a lot of people would default to male, even if it's like not about sports.
That's kind of like the computer in The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When the woman is like, no, this computer personality is a woman. And the man is like, no, he's a man.
That's exactly right.
Yep. Sorry.
Spoiler for your next
very
one.
interested in hearing you guys talk about writing from a, because I was really like, how do you?
The other thing is, though, none of us are award-winning writers, so we don't have to know how.
Yet.
That's true.
That's true. And we also don't try to and fail.
Can't fail if you don't try.
I love to try and fail at that.
Yeah. Well, also, I think when a lot of women write a male, it's not always, it's not, there's so much caricature, and especially like old timey fiction is like, I don't know.
Do you mean when men write women?
Yeah,
it's
like
caricature.
Yeah, like when N.K. Jemisin is writing one of her many male characters, never like, oh, look at this caricature of a man. It's just like a guy doing life
Stuff. Yeah, men would write women, and they'd be like, "Flowers, I fainted,
My
chocolate,
boobs."
chocolate, ack."
Yeah. And they don't always do that, but sometimes we read it and we're just like,
They are always really aware of their boobs. You're right. Like, my breasts against this fabric, my breasts against that fabric. My breasts swung freely, but they're perky. Don't worry about it. They swung, but were perky.
Yeah, it's not
So
a thing.
like a man would be like, my balls against this.
and
Balling ballfully.
yeah, and they'd be like, yeah, balls do that.
I'd have to ask about ball sensations against fabric.
You never see that, though. You never
That's
see
true.
a male character in a book being like, and it was really sweaty and my balls stuck to my thigh. And that's a real thing.
Just once, I would like a man to talk about his ball discomfort in a book.
Yeah.
Is it just because it goes without
I
saying?
want that, Amy, actually.
Well, if we have to keep talking about boob discomfort, why can't we talk about some ball discomfort?
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Maybe men are like, well, it's because I just see the boobs all the time and no one sees my balls.
Because I think about when reading books with women in them, right? I think a lot about how they would take care of their menstrual cycle.
Oh, yeah.
You know? And I wonder if there's a similar thing for dudes. Like that they're thinking about like how would the dude take care of this thing, but we don't know about it.
I don't think they have that kind of
They don't have a
baggage.
thing.
I mean, they pee and poop every day, I think.
Yeah. Everybody has to eat and pee and poop. But,
Yeah. They don't have a delightful week-long event every month that tears them apart.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So moving on to a different book.
All right.
This is whence I learned that Haley does not like fairies.
Joe Walton. Joe Walton.
Among others.
This is correct.
I wouldn't have gotten that.
Among others. Because
I was like, that's the only fairy book we've read.
I forgot.
remember that book where it's like she mentions fairies 3 times, but the entire rest of the book is just I read a book and then I read this book.
And then I read this book and I like this book.
I
And
loved
then,
it.
And then buns. Yeah.
But I forgot about the fairies.
And sometimes the fairies are hot and sometimes they're not.
Yeah. And we talked.
doing is
Sometimes
doing.
they look like stumps.
He said doing.
Doing is doing.
No. More than disliking fairies, I especially don't like it when people call them fays.
I did not know that was
Yeah.
a thing. Nope. That I ended with, we don't like whim. Haley has fairy prejudice.
True.
Okay, so I guess I missed a thing where heaven is a place in a book, a different book that we already went through.
In a book.
Oh, it's a space book. It was one of the space books.
Oh, that's also the Forever War.
Well,
Isn't
I was very unclear on what heaven was in that.
Wasn't there a planet?
I think that was, I missed.
I think it was Forever War. There was a heaven. It was like the one where they go and recuperate.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Oh.
The
It's
spa
like the major
planet.
water. It's got a lot of water. And
It's not the snow planet, it's the spa planet.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
My
where you go to get a
pages
new
got
leg
mixed
if your
up.
leg gets blown
Yeah.
off.
Yeah.
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 That was
Okay.
it. So,
Yay.
Good job, everybody. I think we won.
Yay.
I kind of remember some of the stuff we've read.
I forgot that we were going to talk about like 2023 and books that we liked and stuff.
Oh, wait, before we move on, I do actually want to hear her tell us the plot of Moby Dick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spoiler alert. There is
1 minute or less.
Hang on. I don't need a minute for that.
I mean, honestly, you don't.
Let's see. Let me find the page. Congratulations on Moby Dick. Lori is debt free. Student debt.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
It's very gay.
Yes.
True.
Is there sodomy? I'm not clear. There's a lot of talk about the sperm whale and massaging.
There's not a metaphor.
There's not overt sodomy, I don't think.
No.
But
But that review, he called it. He was like, Nathaniel, I'm writing my sodomy book.
Well, Ishmael and Queequeg are having their heart's honeymoon in that.
They're doing a lot of spooning under the counterpane.
Yeah.
so this is when I learned that Melville is in love with Nathaniel Hawthorne.
Yes.
There are sea Parisians, which I'm not really clear what those are.
Sea Parisians.
What is a sea Parisian? I do remember.
I don't know.
I do remember
I
that
should know.
phrase.
Yeah, man, I should know.
I don't know. It just seemed like they are like on a boat.
Yes.
They're on a boat.
Good job, Anne.
That's my I didn't.
Do you know what Moby Dick is?
The thing that we all aspire to?
No, like in the book, literally.
It's not actually a whale.
No, it is actually a whale. That's what I'm asking you.
Or is it a
I just want to
whale?
make sure you also knew there was a whale.
The white whale.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good.
I think this is from the play. Oh, it's in chapter 54, the Town Ho Story. The Town Ho Story?
No.
That's such a funny phrase. Moby Dick is just too big to remember enough of it.
I think it's
I
just
like
one of
that
his
chapter.
beautiful turns of phrase. He just has weird turns of phrase. Like the sea Parisians, like it's people that were like walking the decks arm in arm and talking about life.
Planners about the
Steel
deck.
Kit and his desperados were too much for them all. They succeeded in gaining the forecastle deck where hastily slewing about 3 or 4 large casks in a line with the windlass, these sea Parisians entrenched themselves behind the barricade. "Come out of that, ye pirates!" roared the captain, now menacing them with a pistol in each hand, just brought to him by the steward. "Come out of that, ye cutthroats!"
So that's a story about another boat.
So I really feel like my brain doesn't know the difference between Moby Dick and the Old Man in the Sea. Like, legitimately.
Well, there's also a big fish in the Old Man
I
of the Sea.
know, but like,
It's about 500 pages too.
What is-
difference?
I do not.
Old Man of the Sea, very short.
Old Man in the Sea is a metaphor for a man's dwindling vigor and youth as he goes fishing and a marlin pulls him for like.
Oh, I read
Yeah.
Old Man in the Sea. I had
Yeah.
a teacher that was obsessed with it. I can give. That's why I was like, Ernest Hemingway. Please tell me you do not like Ernest Hemingway.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. No. Mm-mm.
But
Moby Dick is going on so people would go on whaling voyages for like 2 to 5 years and you just hunt whales, but Moby Dick it's the short plot is a man goes on a boat and there's a crazy captain that wants to get revenge against a whale for biting off his leg. But the longer version is just extended meditations on anything.
Yeah, anything, literally.
well, Haley, if there's one thing I know about you, it's that you love Moby Dick.
That's true. Also, these two love Moby Dick too.
We also love Moby Dick.
Yeah, but Haley loves.
I'm the
Moby
OG. I got a whale.
Oh, wait, this is a really good time for me to share a very funny meme I saw. Hold on.
Yeah.
Meme sharing. Hold, please.
I have convinced no less than 6 people to read Moby Dick.
Oh, well, when I listened to the podcast, it was only like 3. So
Well, our friend of the pod, Catherine Wooten, has read it and liked it.
I love Ishmael, quote, I love Ishmael Merman Hellville fake name. I love a narrator who opens his book like, "Hi, I hate working. Do you ever get depressed? I'm in a great mood right now, and it is not a manic state. Anyway, I've Googled 10,000 whale facts. Fact 1, the whale is a horse and he loves me." That was sent to me by our dear friend of the pod, Emily. Hi, Emily. Yeah. She's currently reading Moby Dick, and she's having a great time.
Oh, yay.
Yeah. Most people do tend to like it.
I mean, it never occurred to me to read it until I
thought
knew
the same.
you.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten there yet.
I have a little short book called Why Read Moby Dick that you might like to read.
That's probably
I got
better.
it to try to convince my grandma to read Moby Dick, and she read it, and she really enjoyed it, and she said after reading it, she was more convinced than ever that she did not need to read Moby Dick.
That book is written by the guy who wrote In the Heart of the Sea.
Yep.
Which is about the origin, like the real world
Essex.
event that sort of led
Inspired
to writing
Moby
Moby
Dick.
Dick. Yeah.
Nathaniel Philbrick.
Yeah. He's a good writer.
One of my books from 2023 was one of his books. We can do that.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. 2023, a retrospective.
I could not remember a single book I read this year. It was so hard to remember books I read this year for this.
Did you find any?
I found a couple. I read Mayflower. Mayflower was by Nathaniel Philbrick, was the first book I read this year.
Oh, cool.
And it was just sort of it was just a pop history retelling of the Mayflower and like various things that happened around that time in America. And I did not know any of that
It's
stuff.
not like they'll tell us in school.
They did not.
They're just like
lies.
and pilgrims and corn and everyone's
like
friends.
learning about the relationship between the settlers and the Native Americans that were there was really interesting. And also, I didn't know that the majority of Native Americans in that area had been wiped out by some disease before we even got there.
Oh, really?
So like there were cultivated fields already and stuff like that we were just like, well, we'll use those. Because there was nobody, they were all gone.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating. And then, as Native Americans build back up, like they're sort of going along together. And then there's a whole thing about King Philip's War, which I had never heard of. And
I don't know her.
That's Spanish?
it's an Indian, it's a fight between the Indians and the settlers that goes on and on and on. Anyway, it was fascinating. That was a really good book. I read that.
So recommended.
Yes, absolutely recommended. I mean, if you have to be into history to enjoy it, I think, but I really liked it.
But he's also like just a good writer too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a nonfiction book. You know,
Because I'm not a nonfiction guy, but I loved In the Heart of the Sea. It was so good.
When a story is told well and engaging, I like nonfiction.
I think In the Heart of the Sea, as far as like just a narrative, an interesting narrative, is better than Mayflower. But Mayflower was just it was very, very interesting. So that was one of them.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
Yeah,
Read that this year. It was really, really good about two people in the game design industry and their friendship. And it was very, I can't remember the author. The author's name is escaping me.
I forget too, but it's good.
And now I've forgotten my third one. It'll come to me.
Haley?
I've got a couple. The Wager, if you like boats, by David Gran.
I got that for Christmas.
It's so good. It's so good.
That reminded me of my third one.
Yeah. What you got?
For $1, name the book you were about to name.
May We Be Spared on Earth. Because last year, Lori for Christmas.
Yeah.
It's a book that comprises the letters written to and from the people on the boats in the Franklin expedition. Up to find the Northwest Passage. Ill-fated voyage.
The letters are so good.
The letters are so good, and I really, really enjoyed reading that.
Also,
I kind of read it over the course of the year.
The amount of conversation about I need this many spoons and this many forks, and then Dr. Goodsir worrying about send me my dog. No, don't send me my dog. Did you send the dog?
What happened to that dog?
We don't know what
that
happened
dog
to the
was
dog.
on a train at one point.
The dog has lost his history.
But then also the people who are sort of in lower classes, you got some of their letters too, which was fascinating. Like talking about sending money home and what you can do with it, and like talking about people in their lives, and like I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah, it is really good.
So that was and May We Be Spared on Earth was the title. That's my 3.
I think it's May We Be Spared to Meet Again on Earth. Because it's a line from the one of the letters, like the mother to a son.
It is. Let's see.
I remember because I kept walking by singing the title.
May we be spared to meet on Earth.
Oh, May We Be Spared to Meet
Letters of the Lost Letters of the Lost Franklin Arctic Expedition. That's a little awkward. Anyway, it was great.
And it's hard to see how excited they are at the beginning because you know what's going to happen.
They're not going to make it.
Every time.
What you got, Haley?
All right, so I got The Wager. That was great, David Gran. Chain Gang All-Stars by Nana Kwame Adjei-Brenyah. It's a book about basically prisoners start doing like battle royales, and it's, scathing critique on, our society and the incarceration rates and people of color. I also liked The Terraformers by Anna Lee Newitz, and The Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune, and The Adventures of Amina al-Sarafi by Shannon Chakraborty. And that was super fun because that was about a lady pirate in like the 12th century and like India and Eastern Africa.
Oh, yeah, cool.
And then
I think you told us about that.
yeah, that was really cool. So those 3 are probably going to be on the short list for the Hugo this year. But one really great short story I read. So I started getting the print version of Asimov Science Fiction Magazine. And in July, August, there was one called Daughters of the Lattice by Stephen Case. And it was about lesbian space nuns, and their spaceship is a cathedral.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
it's very cool.
I like that.
I've read it 3 times. It's very confusing, but it gets cooler and cooler with each read, and he's going to write more in that universe. So that's fun. Oh, one more, a book of short stories, which I don't normally like, but Allegra Hyde wrote The Last Catastrophe, and they're all kind of impacted by like climate fiction, climate change stuff. So that was
None
good.
of mine was science fiction or fantasy. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you like.
Because all the ones I read for science fiction and fantasy these days are for the podcast.
Yeah.
So everybody knows what I've read.
I have to read a lot for writing for Nerds of the Feather, so I always have like a lot lined up.
Kevin, would you like to share?
Sure, yeah. I think the only new thing I read was Don't Fear the Reaper by Stephen Graham Jones.
Don't fear the Reaper.
The second in the Indian Lake trilogy, and that was really good. I think the Only Good Indians
Oh, that one, yeah, that one's
was
good.
still my favorite of his, but that was really good. Otherwise, I finally read some Kazuo Ishiguro.
Yes. Love his books.
Read Never Let Me Go because it was sci-fi related, but my favorite was actually Remains of the Day.
It's so good. It is so good.
And I have like 4 more of his books in my TBR right now.
Yeah.
He's great. He's great.
And I finally read some Nabokov and read Panine, and that was so good. So I definitely want to read more Nabokov. And
Have you read Lolita?
No.
It's actually really good.
Yeah, no. It's,
I would be very interested to read that for the podcast, actually.
Yeah, I definitely want to read that on my Kobo because that's not like something you want to be like seen on the train reading.
Yeah.
Secret shame reading.
Yeah. But yeah, watching Blade Runner last night reminded me I wanted to read Pale Fire. So, and I reread Blood. Well, not all of it, but I reread Blood Meridian, which I did not really connect with on the first go around, but after I knew more what to expect and what it was going for, I really, really liked it on a second read. So
That's like me in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
It happens to the best of us.
I hated it the first time and loved it the second time.
Anne, anything?
I have nothing to add right now. I didn't know I had another assignment.
Can you name any books?
For $1, name a book. Okay. For mine, I think my favorite things that I read this year were Sea of Tranquility by Emily St. John Mandel. And I read that like very late. Like I read it 2 weeks ago or something. And I read it in like 2 days. And I couldn't believe how good it was. Also, it's not long.
Yeah.
Bless everyone who writes a whole story in like 300 pages. Also, When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill was wonderful. I love that. I liked The Spear Cuts Through Water by Simon Jimenez, I think. And that book it's kind of confusing. It's got sort of a frame story that I thought was confusing, but I just decided I didn't care. And it was fine. Mm-hmm. It was fine. And then like the main narrative you can still enjoy even if you're kind of confused by the framing device. So I think if you get into that and you're like, I don't understand, just don't worry about it.
Just keep going.
Yeah, just keep going. Just don't worry about it. So that was really good. And I also got a book called Proud Pink Sky by Redfern John Barrett.
I really want to read that.
You want to borrow it? I have it.
Yeah, I want to borrow it.
So I got it because I supported the Strange Horizons Kickstarter for the year. And then I forgot that I did that. And it said when you signed up, you could pick if you wanted a thank you gift. And of course, they like don't guarantee that they'll have enough. And one of the books on there was The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. And I loved that. So I almost signed up for that. But then I was like, well, I've already read it. So I should get something new. And so I picked Proud Pink Sky. And then I forgot. And then like a couple months later, I got a very battered package from Spain with a book in it. And I was like, what the fuck is this? And it took me about an hour.
It's a very violent response.
Well, I was just so confused.
What the?
Is this from Ernest Hemingway in the Spanish Civil War?
This book to my beloved. Beyond the Grave. I mean, yeah, it wasn't that violent. It was more like I was just really confused. And it was autographed. And I was like, I was just so confused. and it took me maybe like an hour to remember that was from the Strange Horizons Kickstarter. So anyway, I read it and it was really good. And it's about an ambitopia, which is, I think, a really good concept because we read so much like dystopia. Mm-hmm. And this was like, hey, here's a world that has some really good things and some really bad things, like the real world.
Yeah.
And it's like hard to decide, like, is it good or is it bad? It's both and neither. So it's about basically a gay nation state. And it might be just called Berlin, I think. But I can't remember. And so it's like a haven for gays and lesbians to live in, and they're persecuted in other parts of the world and they can go there kind of as refugees. But there's discrimination against trans and non-binary people. People who identify as queer are kind of looked down on, but are kind of accepted. So they're sort of in a middle space. And so there's a lot of like tensions there. So it's like a refuge, but not for everybody. And I think that the author does a really good job with that. The end, it has like a lot of action in like the last 20 pages, like a lot of books.
Yeah.
The end sort of is like very wound up. But I thought overall it was a really good book. So I definitely recommend that. And I appreciate that I got it as a thank you gift, even though it confused me for a while.
Thanks, Strange Horizons.
And I got a bunch of stuff for Christmas. I'm excited to read The Wager,
Yes.
a boat book. And Kevin also got me Bookshops and Bone Dust, which is the sequel to Legends and Lattes.
Oh, nice.
Which is cute. And Kevin's parents got me History of the Hugos by Joe Walton.
A very beautiful looking copy.
Very nice looking, very nice hardback copy. And
We can use it as reference material.
I know. I was thinking.
I go back and look because I have the digital version.
Yeah.
And I go back and look at it usually when we're about to record to see if she had any thoughts.
Yeah, I'm going to look and see if there's anything in there on the Sparrow, since the Sparrow was a finalist, and a lot of times she reads all of them. So yeah, it was a good year for books.
I got a lot of books for Christmas.
Also, I wanted to mention, because I don't know if we've said on the show, that our friend Matt made us a new Barbie style logo, and
thanks, Matt.
Kevin bought a bunch of stickers. So if you want, Anne has one on her phone.
She's rocking it.
And Anne's husband has one on his phone.
Adam does still have it on his phone.
Yeah, the whole family is repping the podcast. If you want one, send us an email and I'll mail you one. And then also we won a Hugo with the book.
Remember that time we won a Hugo?
Remember that time we won a Hugo?
Oh, I forgot about my dragon confession. So I'm on book 2 of, so first I read Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros, and now I'm on Iron Flame.
Yes!
And it's not a typical Haley read, but it is kind of like, so it's about a dragon war college, and it's very much like every youth book you've ever read. There's like 4 groups, and there's like the tough ones, and they're the dragon riders. And then there's like, so there's the scribes, the dragon riders, the infantry, and then the healers. And so you get sorted or whatever. And I'm reading a book about dragons. So there we go.
A second book about dragons.
You learned to thaw your cold heart against dragons when Game of Thrones was being aired.
That's true.
You're like, oh, dragons can be cool.
Yeah. These dragons talk to you in your head, and you bond with them, and they pick you.
Have you read the Temeraire series?
No, but Whitney always wants me to.
Yeah, I
think you'd like it. I liked it.
It's like Napoleon-y.
Yeah, it's like Napoleon War era, but there's a core of dragon riders.
They are efficient weapons.
It's. I think you would really like that book.
Yeah, I need to check it out.
There's a lot of them too. You have dragons.
I think that didn't come through, probably.
Kevin said, does Napoleon say, you think you're so great because you have dragons? And if anybody has seen the Napoleon movie, that would make sense and be hilarious.
Haley reviewed it for Nerds of the Feather, and I haven't seen it, but Haley's review made me want to see it.
It is wild. It is unlike anything you're expecting. It's very weird.
Not sure what to make of it.
It's very funny, but it's not like a great man movie. A podcast that like talks about like, great men, and it's like, Oppenheimer, and they deify these people. But this one's kind of like, man, he's weird.
One of my New Year's resolutions is to read only off my shelves this year.
Oh, that's
getting new books. Whew. And I was actually at Goodwill today and had 4 books in my hand. I was like, no, I can't do it.
I should have just bought them.
I can't.
How far are you going to make it on that?
Listen, except for the podcast, because I'm going to have to buy books for them.
I think you robbed yourself of those 4 books.
Yeah. Well, I can also go to the library. Oh, yeah. As long as I'm not.
That's not on your shelf.
I know. As long as I'm not adding books to my shelf
That's
or
true.
purchasing them, that's the idea. Because I have so many books.
Yeah.
I'm gonna read them. I need to read them.
I have 2 boxes in my trunk. I don't want to put them in my house, but I got so many books.
Don't worry, guys. I'm not gonna be deprived. A lot of books.
You're like, I've got this one copy of the New Testament.
That's all I have.
Guess I have to read
Gideon's
the whole Bible.
So wish me luck in my endeavors.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank
That
you.
is not. I was saying this morning how like I have books and I buy them, and maybe I'll read them in 5 years, but they're there, and I know they're there, and I'll get to them.
Same. I love buying books. I love them. I love them as objects. They're my comfort. They're like my security blanket. They're delightful when I'm bored. I love books. I love buying books. But, at some point you should read them. So true. I'm going to read them.
Yeah, the TBR pile remains undefeated.
Oh, man. Don't worry. After this year, we'll continue to grow.
Humans, 0. TBR.
All of it.
All the points.
All the time.
Every point. Anything else?
Well, one thing I did actually think that y'all should know, and this doesn't have to go on the podcast.
Oh, what's going on?
Well, would you hear it?
One thing that you guys said that was really like funny and helpful to me is like, sometimes you don't understand the science of the book. And like, if you're enjoying it, it's okay to just be like, that's okay.
Yeah, that sounds like a Laurie comment.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I just am like, okay. Like what I said with the framing device in that one book, I was just like, you know what? I don't think I need to understand
That was
this.
probably the one where I like, because I'm not a dummy, but like,
I am.
know your metaphysical like magic science because it's fake.
Yeah. Most of it is made up. Right.
So like, I don't need to go back a chapter and like understand.
It's like explaining a magic system in a fantasy book. Like you can try as hard as you want to understand the magic system, but at the end of the day, you just kind of have to accept the magic happens and just move on.
And they're never going to call it a birthday. It's a life day, a name day, a cake day.
I just thought
or how many winters you've been around.
I felt like it was very affirming to hear
good.
like, it's okay
It's
if
okay.
you like,
Oh, good.
nobody knows it because it's not real.
And
The only person who knows it for sure is the person who wrote it down.
And not everybody's good at describing some things.
Correct.
So maybe they're better at characters.
That's
or
good.
whatever.
If we can help just one person.
Rarely they're better at characters in this realm.
That's true. That's true.
That's all.
Well, Happy New Year to all
Happy
of
New
our
Year.
listener.
Happy quizzing.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming.
Being here, Anne.
We should make it an annual thing.
The more we record, the more there's things that I haven't read in 5 years. So
Oh, yeah. It'll get harder and harder if we continue on.
Maybe next year I'll tell you the storyline of Moby Dick.
Yay. I expect you to have read it by the time we see you this time next year.
No.
Internet exists.
what's funny is that the plot's not going to get any clearer.
No.
The plot is already only 3 chapters.
That's
so.
right.
You're going to be like in the second folio of the dolphin bit.
All right. That's it.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Hugo girl. Hugo girl. Hugo girl. A hilarious podcast.
Facebook memories the other day, which is dating me as the 40-year-old that I am, that I'm looking at Facebook.
An
But
elder
my
millennial.
cousin, I took my cousin, who's 21 now, to see Green Day several years ago.
yeah.
And I took a selfie of us and posted it on Facebook to commemorate her asking me when we were at the Green Day show if I had ever heard of the Smashing Pumpkins.
Had you?
No, that seems like such a rude thing to do. Kids on Halloween are running wild these days.